That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is OCCW, and this is the Royal Ramble with our tag team champions, Thunder and Lightning, and Mr. Almighty, Jonathan Mellis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, and welcome once again to another exciting episode of the Royal Ramble, Orange County Championship's flagship station here on the Free Admission Channel. How's everybody doing? To my right, to my left, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. To my left, the irascible, irrevocably, inconceivably interesting Azrael.
You're going to write my Tinder profile for me.
All right, and to my right, the man needs no instructions. People say babes always make fun of him. I say he's getting better at milking females, if you know what I'm saying, getting that Skrilla money, right? Skrilla, right? Okay. But I say he is B.A. Marcus Frey. How you doing today, B.A.?
I'm doing all right. I wanted to apologize to all my fans. I felt like I ended on the wrong leg last week, but I wanted to kick things off on the right foot, and let's get things started and run things all night long.
Oh,
all right.
Raider Nation all night.
Well, let's not talk about football this week because despite the facts that
they're like the cows of people.
Despite the fact that Joey's Pittsburgh Steelers are 0-3, our Raiders are 1-2 and not doing much better, looking absolutely terrible.
But one better is still better. So that's all that matters.
All I want to say is, you need to put John Gruden and Derek Carr on a slow boat to friggin' Buffalo. Yeah, well, my God.
If there was a toilet big enough to flush them both, I would put them in the toilet my goddamn self.
Yeah, there is. It's called Las Vegas, and that's where they're going.
Well, yeah.
All right. All right. This week, Joey, we had talked in the international world of global wrestling. WWE had an interesting intro to their Monday Night Raw telecast. So why don't you get our family up to speed here?
Yeah, well, I was after I had a great dinner, and decided to relax in my nice lazy boy chair. I sat down and I DVR'd my Night Raw because I like fast forwarding the commercials and some of the boring matches. And so, as the intro started, I'm thinking, oh, great, it's cool, the typical WWE intro. It's going. Next to it starts glitching. I'm like, what's going on with my satellite TV? What's going on? There's something wrong with my cable, Dad. Forget to pay something. Until I realized it was the Finn. It was the man himself. Popped out of the screen. I'm like, holy smokes, this is going to be a great goddamn show.
Yeah, and you know what? And Finn Balor, is really kind of. I'm not sorry.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Finn Balor. They all sound the same.
They're very similar looking.
Sorry. They all sound the same. Bray Wyatt and the Demon, right, is becoming this larger. It reminds me, it reminds me of when Roddy Piper, his Piper's Pit, started becoming bigger than the actual show itself, actually bigger than the matches, and it really manifested in its own way, and that's really neat to see. That's really neat to see that kind of organic thing taking over.
Well, I mean, it also kind of takes me back to when the Ministry of Darkness really took off. Undertaker was always a stable that everyone got behind, but once he got the Ministry, it almost consumed the entire roster. Everything that he was going through, the roster was going through, and I feel like with Bray Wyatt, he's bringing that sense. As a solo man, that's the most impressive part, is he doesn't need an entire backing of, the Wyatt family like he did before, because I felt like they wanted that. They wanted that same feel of the Wyatt family is taken over, and now it's just one man and his puppets. And
the scared kids.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's terrifying children and making adults very happy right now.
And I love it.
Much like Joe Biden.
Okay, well, that brings us to our first. Well, let's get to that a little bit later.
I think the Fiend character's off to a great start. Hopefully they can keep it rolling. They'll see if it stands the test of time. Undertaker had to do it for like 2 decades, plus, before his, body started to fall apart. So we'll see how Bray Wyatt's looking. It's a kind of gimmick that you usually keep in the shadows. So we're going to see with the exposure of him week in on week out, like how long they can keep it rolling. They're going into a Hell in the Cell. He's got a title match coming up. So if he doesn't win that, like, is he screwed? Like, what do you do? Is it now the time for him to have the belt on?
I think the best part about his character, though, is when Undertaker had to be kept in the shadows, luckily with Bray Wyatt, he has The Fiend, and then he has Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse. So you can kind of have Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse be the one that steps forward every week and come out and not even live, or if you want to start doing the puppet show live in the ring once he starts becoming a little bit more prominent, like it's one of those things where it's like it can go over that way. So he, with having the multiple personalities, can be something that hopefully stands the test of time.
Well, you did in the beginning. You did have the puppets out in the middle of nowhere, and like in the backstage pop out. If you look at some of the Easter eggs, that they were in the actual live scenes of wrestlers walking down the hallways, and you see the pig puppet, you see the the rabbit puppet, and they're actually in the background. You just got to catch them.
Yeah,
interesting. So obviously there's going to be more depth to this angle, and we'll see it play out and we'll see how it plays out as time goes on. I honestly think that what's going to happen is that the demon is going to supplant the Undertaker as the resident dark gatekeeper.
I feel if they do that, he needs to be the one to retire.
That's what I'm saying. You'll probably see them at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, right? I think that's what's going to happen. So that's about all we have to talk about WWE matches at all. Title picture. Didn't Rey Mysterio look pretty good? He won.
I mean that's the thing is Rey. With them teasing this whole he was going to retire, and then his son talked him into staying in because he ultimately wants to tag team with his dad at some point.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, like that. That's
must be nice to have a son that was such a
in my
dick.
prediction, I think the son's gonna.
I think he's going to turn on him.
Yeah,
I think the point is the son turns on him because I dedicate this match to my son, and I love my little boy Dominic.
Right, my little boy who's bigger than me.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, that's not funny. My son was bigger than me at 12 years old. He hit harder too.
Oh,
all right. So a lot of it looks like the WWE is maybe getting a little more interesting heading into this debut on Fox. But,
everything except for King Corbin. Can't stand the guy. Can't stand him.
But why though?
Because really, what is he?
Heel.
Yeah, but what? Here's the thing.
If he had cool moves, I'd cheer the cool moves. So he doesn't do the cool moves.
Right, but that's the thing to me is you're a heel, but what are you? When you first came in, you were the low down biker dude, coming in with the vest and the receding hairline that was unstoppable. And then all of a sudden you shave your head and you put on a collared shirt and you're a goon. So tight, super tight slacks, and you're a goon for the corporate office. But that didn't go well. So now you're coming out in a black wife beater and still the same tight ass pants. But you're towing the line between the two, and it just doesn't make any sense. No. So I'm just supposed to hate the guy just because he's a dick?
Yes, more or less. Yeah, that's the gag.
Well, that's interesting because the Undertaker went through a bunch of different friggin' gimmicks. Like, they gave him the worst gimmick in history. Yeah. Right. Well, the second worst gimmick. Maybe the worst was Duke the Dumpster Drozer or Bastion Booger or something like that. But. And he turned it around, and he was the Undertaker all the way through. Yeah. But he became the Dark Ministry. He became the biker. He became the redneck.
It was more like, is the guy supernatural, or is he just some kind of madman who thinks that he is? Right. And I know they went back and forth on that, how they explain it. At one point, he levitates out of the building in Providence, Rhode Island. Right. And then later on, Vince McMahon's like, he's always been nuts, and we'd flip the lights off and on for him, but now he's really out of his mind, Paul. He really thinks he's the devil. He's talking to Triple H in 99 with the corporate ministry. He's really out of his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what I'm waiting for is those two brothers. Are they ever going to wrestle WWE? I always hear them talk shit.
Oh, you talking about
from NXT?
Yeah. What's their name? I
the Street Profits?
Yeah.
Oh, they're always in the back.
Are those guys any good? I have never seen them.
I mean, they're decent wrestlers. That's they definitely would do something in the tag team division if they ever decide to do something with them on the main roster. But I think right now what they're doing is a little bit of oversaturation to where the people aren't going to really care once they finally step in the ring. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you guys are funny mouthpieces, but you're like the brothers on the corner where it's like, oh, it's funny to hear as you walking by, but if you stop and listen, you'll be like, man, these dudes are stupid, and you're gonna keep pushing.
I get you.
They kept it running a little bit too long. Like, they should have been introduced into matches by now. I think it was running like a couple weeks too long. Like, I know, like, the vignettes, you establish the character. Yep. Look, he's a weirdo that builds coffins or whatever it might be over a couple of weeks. But eventually, like, he's got to get in there and fight pretty soon.
Right.
Yeah,
and so that's why I say, like, them holding the NXT tag team titles, they should have stayed on NXT until they lost those titles. To bring them up, I feel like it was just to give them exposure. And give NXT and their title belts the exposure of, these are our tag team champions. Now, if you really want to see them, tune in on Wednesdays. And it's like,
All right, speaking of tag team champions, and if you want to see them, this weekend, Gold Coast Federation will be hosting here at the Dela O Jiu-Jitsu Training Center, Big Trouble in Little Dojo. Once again, that is Big Trouble in...
It's a medium-sized dojo. We are not a small building by any means, sir. How many square footage is this? Or square feet?
Several thousand.
Yeah, it's a big building.
So if you want to see your favorite tag team champions in action this weekend at, was it 3 o'clock?
It's going to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Right after you get done watching the Raiders whoop on the Indianapolis Colts, you can come on down and...
Finally, someone for them to whoop on.
Jesus.
Jeez whiz. Anyway, I digress. GCF, Gold Coast Federation, hosts Big Trouble in Little Dojo with tag team champions Thunder and Lightning. Right?
The other way.
Oh, Thunder and Lightning.
I ain't never seen lightning flash black, so here we go.
Lightning strikes on Thunder Road. Yeah.
You want to, no. Which reminds me, I mean, that was Garth Brooks, but I want to take a moment to wish my good friend, lifelong friend, Bruce Springsteen, a happy 70th birthday. I know you're out there in New Jersey. You might be in bed by now, seeing as how you're 70. But, hey, I want to tell you thanks for rocking all those years, making all that great music, and even, providing a soundtrack to my young life.
Hey, little girl's your daddy home.
Everybody knows the song.
Don't look at me.
No, you don't know a Bruce Springsteen song?
I mean,
come on, you're telling me that Clarence Clemens was not one of the coolest brothers ever?
I mean, yeah, Bruce Springsteen. Have a happy birthday, man.
Anyway, he's kidding. He's got the whole live 75 to 85 album blaring in his car,
Sure
boss.
do.
All right. So Gold Coast Federation here at the Dela O Training Center. That is this Sunday, 3 p.m. Tickets are $15 at the door, $10 on Purple Pass. Do not miss it. You'll see the likes of Sin Bodhi. Who else is going to be? You know, those guys should be here pushing your own show, boys. Where the hell are you? I like you guys so much. Funny how things change after like a year, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll have Sin Bodhi will be in the house.
Tony Reyes takes on Sin Bodhi. We're taking on Freddie Helmuth and the Count. Let's not dispute, Freddie Helmuth.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Now, you are friends with the Count.
Yes.
You're part of, what's it?
I like the
Disintegration
Count.
Incorporated?
I like the Count. One victims, two victims.
You'll be taking on friends of yours in the ring now. Now, how does that work?
Yeah.
I gotta say,
Tell me, how does that work?
I have put all things below the tag team championships. These tag team championships are sacred, holy possessions to me. And
Oh, jeez.
I'm just gonna,
he's between smoking rocks and a hard place.
I can bump that up.
Seriously. Smoking rocks in a hard place. Seriously.
Don't even worry about it. You're all right, baby. You're all right. I would never just,
You know what?
forget
You're
my
not
belt
going
at
to
a
get your
Sizzlers.
deposit back on that.
You
You
know,
keep it up.
well, it wasn't that much money to begin with.
All right, I'll remember that.
But I'm not going to let, petty things like friendship and, years of brotherhood get between me and my shiny prize. Hey.
All right, so what you're saying is that you are all in this match with your partner, B.A. Marcus.
Yeah, bros before hoes.
Oh, God.
Those gardening tools.
Brothers before others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And your thoughts going into this match? I mean, he sounds like he's All the way live.
We're gonna own those two liberals because it's the only type of owning people they let me do anymore.
Oh no!
Don't know what to do with my life if I can't
just say
own
that?
them libs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
What?
views of Azrael are the views and opinions
It's
of
confusing
Azrael
time for me.
himself. They do not represent the views and opinions of Free Admission Channel, the Royal Ramble, Orange County Championship Wrestling, or anyone else with a brain in their head.
I mean, I guess I could manage a Walmart or something. It'd be like the same thing.
Oh no!
I could make them work
So-
Thanksgiving.
All right, so
Yeah, clean up on aisle 4. Is that frowned upon? Oh, what? I didn't say any specific kind of person.
now who do you think?
Poor people.
Stop.
You gotta say foe, not.
What do you think? What do you think of your opponents, and what do you think it's going to take to beat them?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what I think of my tag team partner right now.
I've
Hey,
been trying
man.
to figure that out for a while.
Clearly, you've got money for gold jewelry and stuff. You're not one of them peasants that has to clean up, the hobo dump or whatever on aisle 3.
That's true. I
Yeah.
don't live in Barstow in a car, so I'm
Yeah,
good.
see? You're doing better than most people.
It
BA.
still counts as a car. I don't care if it's big enough to be considered a mobile home. It's a car.
If it has a steering wheel and a turn signal,
Exactly.
it's a car.
You living
Thank
out your
you
car.
very much. All right.
So, no, but what I think about my opponents, this from day one. I'm used to punching suckers in the mouth. And when a sucker is coming in wearing a Divine Intervention shirt,
Chances are they deserve to get punched in the mouth.
Exactly.
I probably just
You
won't be
know.
wearing a shirt then. How
Yeah.
about that?
Well, let's
that'd be your
keep
best
that shirt
bet.
on.
I
One
go
of them,
topless.
one of them form-fitting ones that pushes everything up so you look better.
Yeah.
I
So
do
I
have a
mean,
couple of those.
at the end of the day, I've gone toe to toe with Helmuth. The dude is a hard hitter, but he better watch out for his partner, because if his partner is conscious enough to count to 3, it's gonna be conscious enough to know that I'm pinning him for the count of 3. Period.
Sounds about right. All right. Who else is on that show?
Nobody else.
Nobody else, just you two?
We're all that matters. At the end of the day, I mean,
Trent Acid is there.
That's right.
I
Rudy
think-
is taking on Mikey O'Shea. Now, these are two guys that were friends for the longest time here at OCCW. I imagine they're probably still friendly. They're both still professionals. So this is a competitive matchup, and it is going to be interesting to see. Rudy is obviously no stranger to be the smaller man in the match. Probably every match he's ever been in, he's been the smaller man.
he's smaller in stature, but his heart makes him almost bigger than everybody else he steps in there with.
But he's been in there with the likes of Othello, for crying out loud. He had a 3-match series, probably the best booked indie wrestling matches in more than a decade. He went back and forth with Othello, hung in tough. I mean, but Mikey O'Shea is a different animal. Yes, he's not as tall, but he's every bit as big. And Mikey O'Shea moves faster than a Volkswagen going out of Berlin,
and
right?
it's literally like getting hit by a locomotive. Like, he's
Yeah.
got speed and size. So when that hits you, I don't know if any of you ever walked up to an NFL player and said, "Hey, run into me." But that's basically what it feels like. This man probably could have played some
Okay.
We
pro
just got
ball.
some breaking news, guys.
Yeah.
Breaking
Breaking
news. Rudy isn't going to be there, sadly. So it's going to be him against our own Joey Barone.
But we're gotta be on the same team in like a couple weeks. Damn it,
mean,
Mikey, you be careful with that,
They
man.
better be
He's
able to squash
breakable.
it then. It's a one and done, fellas. That's all I got to say.
better
Because by the
not.
time we get to the show in October, we got to work as one unit. So get it out your system now.
Fair enough. I agree. I don't know what happened to Rudy.
I mean, I am looking forward to going to war with the red, white, and blue behind us, because when you go to war, you bring the red, white, and blue, Joey Barone.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the case. All right, so you heard it here first. It's Joey Barone versus Mikey O'Shea for the first time here at the Delo Training Center. That is this Sunday. Gold Coast Federation presents Big Trouble, Little Dojo. Doors open at 3:00. Tickets $10, $15 at the door. Don't you dare miss it. All right, shifting gears a little bit. We have a regular guest, I guess, a guest host, whatever you'd want to call him. He's known the world over as the German training fitness guru. He's
almost like a German party fitness guru.
Well, in Germany, they just call him a fitness guru. So So there's that,
Well,
you know.
fair enough, but we're not in Germany.
Right.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure.
The German
Yeah, but that's the thing is people need to understand that he is German. So
I
mean,
we
over
are
there he's just
labeling-
one of the fellas.
Right, but he's not over there. He's over here.
Over
Right.
here, he's
We
some
just
kind
hope
of
he has a
weird.
better attitude this time. Last week, he was a complete jerk.
But you know what? And you know, again, maybe we'll be able to get some answers out of him. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Lucha Pro heavyweight champion, Gusten Thunder Uberstud. Yay!
What you repping today? You repping yourself again?
You better rep those hands together and clap for your champion.
Why don't you go down that way? There's a little more room that way.
Yeah,
I have a
don't-
feeling
yeah.
that you'll get.
You just assume that we get along.
Well, you're liberals, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
to the left.
We'll move to the left a
you
little
go.
more. All right.
We can put our belts next to each other.
All right. Don't let your belts touch. All right. This is a family
I'm
program.
okay with it.
Look at those sparks. Look at those sparks coming out.
They're only touching tips. It's all right.
All right. All right.
What do you expect? They're both hanging to the left. So
Yeah.
Now, you know, one of the topics that I can, you know, a lot of people say, you know, I'm gonna save it. Studio wrestling. Are you guys familiar with studio wrestling? It's not like custom matches or apartment
I
wrestling.
just assumed.
Now, let me just say this: studio wrestling is what I grew up on. Back in the day, 605 TBS used to have their NWA show, and it was shot in a television studio with about 60 to 70 people in the audience. And the unique, when you watch, say, Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view, basically what you're seeing is an arena show put on for the people in the arena, and having the TV cameras there, you're spying in on an arena show.
Right.
You know, would you say that's about right? You're watching an arena show?
I felt like that's what it used to feel like. Now there's going for more of a TV feel.
Okay,
like
well, that's what the studio experience was. This was a show made specifically for a TV viewing audience, right? It was close, it was on, and then the people in the audience were basically peering in on a TV show. Does that make sense? Almost like, like a game show, right? Almost.
But it's a little bit like that in WWE because you still have the cameras on the one side. There's not very many people over there.
Right.
And everything has to go in that
Well, were they
direction.
doing cutting the promos and such? Is what you mean?
Everything. Everything points at the camera.
Championship wrestling from Hollywood is built completely that way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Right. Well,
But I see what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
to me, it seems like Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is trying to convince you that it's actually an arena show that you're watching, even though they're only showing it from one angle. Is that one angle?
They have that camera angle, and it's just like they got to go to this. This is the side.
Right.
That
Whereas, you know, you could actually see the television cameras around the ring, and you could see it. The neat thing about studio wrestling was that, you know, you really got those promos, and most of the matches were squash matches, right? You'd have your run-ins, you'd have your pull-aparts, you'd have your, your clips of what went on in the arena shows, but you really got to see guys like Dusty Rhodes, guys like Ric Flair, the Road Warriors. When they cut their promos, it was up close and personal. The sound was just right. The camera and the lighting was everything. And then, you know, they'd cut their promo, they'd go into the ring and wrestle their match, which usually wasn't more than a couple of minutes, and it was fantastic. Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express owned that 605 TBS show, and now the NWA is cutting to, they're bringing it back. Billy Corrigan's new outfit has actually put together a television studio where they're going to do broadcast TV version of, you know, the wrestling show in studio.
Is this gonna be live? Do you know?
I would imagine it would probably be
That would be the
taped.
difference.
It would be nice.
But can we backfill a little
Yeah.
bit? Because, okay, so Billy Corgan's with the NWA, and
Right.
I was under the impression that it was still, in a manner of speaking, like a governing body, kind of like it was back in the territory days where, like, they could, even
Right.
now, they could defend the title in different promotions. Is that what it's going to be? Is it going to be Billy Corgan's
Right.
NWA,
From
or is
what-
it going to be something else that's overseen by
From
the
what I
NWA?
understand, it's the spirit of the NWA. The NWA will never exist again, right?
But is he
Where-
going to call
So
it
it's
NWA?
in
It's going to
association.
be, yeah, it'll be National Wrestling Alliance,
okay,
right?
okay.
But yeah, the whole, you know, controlling this territory and that territory and all that, that's a thing of the past.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I just wasn't sure if this new thing was going to
Gonna be entitled,
NWA,
yeah.
Yes.
or it was going to be a new thing. governed by
Right.
under the umbrella of
Right.
WWE.
No, it's going to be its own entity.
If you're
So
running
now-
the National Wrestling Alliance out of one building every week, that's not national. That's just the name of my promotion.
But if it goes to the whole country,
Because it's on
being-
TV. Because
Yeah.
like they're not like touring anywhere. It's like from the
Right.
one place.
Well,
like
sure.
we could do that. Anybody could do that.
yes, but you know,
And be like the national.
that's like saying, well, you
When
only
the-
run in 4 places. Are you really Orange
Yeah,
County?
I mean that's what they're doing. If we're on Facebook, we can be seen in China, Timbuktu, some other
when
foreign
the
country.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation was running out of Connecticut and
Pacific
Maine,
Northwest, yeah.
that
Or
wasn't
Northeast, yeah.
worldwide
Yeah, yeah.
Those were filthy lies, also. As so is this.
Well, I think I think they will probably tour a little bit, and I know Nick Aldis is the champ right now. Is it Nick Aldis?
Yes.
I think he probably
Stallion of a man.
he's a great. He's the,
Incredibly good looking.
He's the Nick Bockwinkel of our time. So,
Oh God!
so
Why would you slur the man? There's nothing to it.
see, Nick Bockwinkel was you're just too young. So
Look it up. Look
so,
it up, kids.
so
Be in bed by 11.
So he's going to probably be wrestling a Ring of Honor, probably AEW shows, everything but the WWE. And that's one of the neat things about seeing wrestling take shape now is that it's becoming, all these smaller things are working together. So many smaller entities are working together. Wrestling itself is growing, and the WWF is like the rich kid over here who doesn't want to get his hands dirty, doesn't want to get his feet dirty. He's not going to play in the mud because he's got his $300 Jordans on or whatever.
Means you're better than everybody else.
Yeah, I know, but
Shame on me.
it's exciting to
You're
see
riding around in the Rolls Royce. Why do you want to jump in the Camry? I mean, come on.
where everyone's, why would you want to jump in the back of the Camry and have sex in the Camry where you can sit by yourself in the Rolls Royce?
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
gotcha.
Get it?
Right. Well, that would explain a few things. Yeah, yeah. All right, Joey Mattoon. Hey, I know you're watching. I want you to on this message thing. What do they call this? The post or whatever. What is it?
Comments.
The comments.
Oh.
I want you to list
The
your
internet.
entire card because you people should be here listing your entire card for our fans at home.
Hey, I know most of it.
You-
Snipes is gonna take on Trent Acid. Guy Cool's gonna be
I think it's
there.
Toxic Trent, isn't it?
Trent Acid, Toxic Trent? I don't know.
Are they the
Okay,
same
pretty
people?
close.
Are they
Yeah,
two
it's that
different
guy,
people?
Trent
Even
Acid.
Jamal
See, this is
Watson.
exactly why we need
He'll be
R.J.
here.
Wallace or Joey Mattoon to post this so that we can read it. Because shame on you. Joey what? All right.
Are you coming?
He's not
I
even-
got-
Sunday the 29th?
I got business buddy on the 29th.
Oh, what are you doing?
Tell us,
Oh,
tell
okay,
us a
well,
little
tell
about,
me about that.
Tell
then.
us a little bit
Daddy's got to
Hold
go
it
to
on
Lucha
me.
Pro and hold things down.
with your new
here.
best friend, Vintage Dragon. Is that right? Now that you're in the business of helping him
Don't-
save,
don't
now
put
that you're in the
words in
business
my
of
mouth.
helping, I'm not putting anything in your mouth.
All
Trust
right.
me.
Come
We all saw you save his title against Damon Devine. So now you're going to wrestle for him. Now is that what you are now? You are now not only his champion, you are his
Confidant.
itch bay.
Business.
His whipping boy.
Yeah. You care to speak to
Whipping
this?
boy.
You care to
I mean,
speak to this?
no.
What it seems like is since you couldn't win the OCCW title back, you want to team with the OCCW champion, and that's almost just as good.
Okay, look. Everybody over there putting words in Gustav Nubestad's mouth, saying things like best friend. I never used the term best friend. I never said, oh, I'm gonna go over there and side with them because I can't win. All I said was Gustav Nubestad had to do for Gustav Nubestad what Gustav Nubestad had to do. Okay?
Yeah. So what?
Snaking around over here, playing games. All right?
But yeah, you
And
still.
Gustav Nubestad always getting the short end of the stick. No more. All right?
So you'd rather sit on a
guys
long
go
stick.
play patty cakes in Little Dojo while Daddy goes and holds down the fort at Lucha Pro.
Well, you know what? We'll go to the little dojo and hold on to the OCCW championships while you go and play with your piece of copper.
Hold him tight.
What time is that show gonna be?
Hold him tight, because
What-
that
what
band
time?
of Lucha Pro gentlemen is not loosening up anytime soon. And as soon as they turn and fix their eyes on you, you got a big problem.
Okay,
That's
let me
all I'm
ask you
saying.
this. All right, now I am
time
not a
is the
big
show?
fan of Lucha
Siete
Pro,
hora.
or I'm not a big fan. I am not.
Tiempo.
I am not a big fan of Lucha Pro. I'm certainly not a big fan of Vintage Dragon or that Lucha Pro belt.
He likes you.
But my point is,
Domingo.
I think if you are wrestling, you should probably tell us when, where, and for how much. I'm talking about your wrestling show.
Oh,
Well, it's a Lucha Pro show, so it starts whenever it starts.
How much?
How much are
I'm not gonna
tickets to the
reveal
show?
my
No.
paycheck.
How much
I'm not gonna reveal my
Jesus Christ.
paycheck to.
How much? No, I don't need to know your pay
These
show.
people.
I'm asking you to tell the audience at home, where is the show? How much are tickets? What time does it start?
Are they selling elotes there? That's very important.
No, that's not important. Of course they are.
I mean,
The show is this Sunday. The show is at the Lucha Pro Arena in Los Angeles. Tickets are somewhere between $10 and $20.
One of those.
I hope some canned food.
The show starts anywhere between 6 and 8 p.m.
Okay, so this goes out to Vintage Dragon as well, like we did to Joey and RJ. Vintage Dragon, if you were watching, right, please in the comment section here, send us the address and the card, all right, and we'll be able to.
Robert.
What?
Or a flyer to Robert.
Or a flyer to Robert so we
who
can
are you
post that as
wrestling
well.
against?
Lucha, Vintage Dragon is very busy, okay? He is a busy man. Don't be pestering him.
Okay,
Don't
maybe
be
your buddy Vito
asking
Pepperoni
him
can
for-
do that, huh?
Jesus.
Okay?
There you go.
Here, why did you
Oh,
send
Vito
that to
Pepperoni.
Robert?
I
Robert,
got all
Rabbit,
the
whatever the hell his
information
name is.
right here in front of me, 6 p.m., okay?
Siete.
Not
PM.
Really?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
PM.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Damn it.
$15 for the adults, $5 for the niños.
That means children.
That says it right there. It says niños on the poster. I thought it
That was
was
a hurricane.
I thought it was a
That's
weather
very
pattern of some sort.
$5 for El Nino.
You know,
Here's an opinion.
like, I would expect that from the two white brands. But from my friend in persons of color, I can
Hey,
say that.
hey,
You know,
hey.
let me ask you this.
I love my Spanish speakers, especially my Spanish women. Hey, what up?
Yeah.
Hola, mamas.
Hola, mamas.
There's no one here to get mad at that. All right, good. All right. That said, my next, I want to do a topic. Now, I don't have the timer. We're not going to do that tonight. We're going to put that topics feature on the table for another day. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about wrestlers in politics. Wrestlers in politics. Earlier today, we saw the video of Jesse Ventura. Was he criticizing Donald Trump, or was he criticizing just the Republican and Democratic Party, the two parties?
I think he was just going in on all things politics, but he had choice words for the way that Donald Trump has been running his
Jesse
term.
Ventura does what Jesse Ventura always goddamn
Right.
does. He just blames everybody in politics. He doesn't have any platform of his own. He's just like, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Vote for me. Buy a gun. Get gay, married, and shoot your gun. I don't care.
because
He wants
when
to
you
live in a canyon in
right,
Montana and
well, because
go
when
be
you don't
president.
have a party, no one can get mad at you because you don't stand for or by anything
But I'm not
specifically.
Hillary or Trump.
You can literally just say, well, I flip-flop back and forth, and if I choose one thing that's Republican and then turn around the next day and choose another thing that's Democratic, I told you I didn't belong to either party.
Well, but see, that isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm okay with you with someone being independent, but if you're gonna be independent, I still feel like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
But he was a governor. Give him that.
He was a mayor and then a governor. Yeah, so he
From a number
spent.
of years.
The reality is, he spent more years as a politician than he
Than
did as a
did
pro
a-
wrestler,
yeah.
and certainly much longer than he did as an actor,
Yeah.
and much more successful as well.
shit.
So, okay, what do you think about wrestlers in politics? We also have Kane, who is a mayor
Yeah.
in some batshit
There
town.
were some rumors a couple months ago, a year ago maybe, that The Rock was
The
going to
Rock?
run for president.
The Rock, yeah, and
You know,
and,
that could,
That's true.
and that would
And then
be,
he said, "Nope, that's my next film, guys. Sorry."
Yeah, no, can you picture The Rock running for president?
yes!
If you smell what I'm voting.
No. You know who I promise you will become a political official or whatever you call
John
it?
Cena.
John Cena, absolutely.
He looks like a politician when
Doesn't
he
he
has
look like someone
Oh,
who,
man.
he looks like Eisenhower's like dream, right?
Hell, he was a Marine.
like 3 times, I think.
He was never actually in the military, though.
Are you sure?
You better learn
I mean, he doesn't-
some respect and some hustle and some loyalty from your future president.
The dog tags that he wears are of his brother who was in the military. John Cena was actually never served.
He
So
wears-
you're telling me Hollywood is a lie?
Yeah, pretty
What about
much.
The Miz? You telling me The Miz never killed nobody?
He killed a lot of careers when he did that movie. Everybody that was in that film with him never acted
Who
again.
greenlit
What
this?
do you mean he killed careers? Ms. and Mrs. is a very successful show on the W.
Oh, well, yeah. The scripted television stuff he's fine with. It's the scripted movie stuff that he's
You
not
know what?
very good
And here
with.
we are once again on the subject of wrestlers and movies. All right, and I watched this again for like the umpteenth time the other night. No, I'm not gonna talk. Huh?
Was it No Holds Barred? I love No Holds Barred.
God, it always comes to this.
The Marine?
No, it was The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin
okay.
and those
Yeah.
guys.
That's
Have you
a
seen
good
that?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That was the one where I actually looked at Stone Cold in that film and said, this guy could do this.
Yeah, right? I thought, you know what, he had much more personality than The Rock. I think he was much more interesting than The Rock. I think the problem was in a time of ethnic diversity, right? You could look at The Rock and you say, oh, he's a person of color. You can't say he's black because unless it's February.
Right. Well, I mean, he won't say he's black
Right?
unless it's February.
Right? And you can say he's all Samoan because...
Yeah, I mean, with anybody who saw the last
Hobbs and Shaw?
Hobbs and Shaw,
That was a great flick.
It was a fantastic movie, but not once was there a mention of him being part black. He ran around with the Samoan boys doing all the and I said, all right, yeah.
I love that movie. Did you see Rocky
the
Johnson?
Haka.
Did you see the Haka? Is that what it's called?
It's called the Haka.
Do
Okay.
it right now, Joe.
No,
Show
no,
the
no, no.
people.
Leave your shirt on and don't do it. Robert can do it, huh, Robert?
No.
Yes, you
It
can.
doesn't have to be a shirtless dance.
So, did you see the Rocky Johnson cameo in that movie?
In what movie?
In Hobbs and Shaw?
No.
Oh, all right.
I-
But see,
I must
think
not
the
have been
difference
paying
between The
attention.
Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, though, I think that the Stone Cold has a mass appeal in the wrestling world.
Right.
The Rock has a totally different kind of appeal. I think
Yeah.
I think The Rock can appeal to a broader
Well, yeah, 'cause
crowd outside.
The Rock
of the
makes
world of
women
wrestling.
appeal their
So,
panties off. That's
I
the
think
problem.
that's I think that's the difference. The Rock
His ex-wife still likes him.
He can
Exactly.
do the kids movies. He can do the adult movies. He can do action. He can do funny. I mean, Stone Cold can do funny too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when people think Stone Cold, they just I think
Well,
it's like the kind of the mean.
it would be
badass
nice
kind
to
of
have
guy.
a nice badass action hero like Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
But you
were.
know what they say, sex sells, and The Rock gets a lot of the women.
Real
Are you
quick,
saying Stone Cold Steve Austin ain't a beautiful man?
Not to a lot of women that are
You're
going to the
racist
movie
against
theater.
bald people.
Well, back to politics real quick.
Yeah.
The Rhino himself was actually going to be the House representative for the Michigan.
Rhino, Rhino.
As a Republican.
I thought he won. Didn't he win?
Who
thought he
else?
was.
Rick Steiner is like the head of
One of the guys for
education.
Brian Blair, Killer B.
Killer B, yeah.
He's a politician himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'd be surprised. A lot of these wrestlers, Rick Steiner, he was working his way to be a politician.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised. A lot
Well,
of
you
these
know what?
wrestlers
I think part
down
of it
the
is
line-
these wrestlers have traveled the world, or at least traveled the country, and they've seen things. You know that the
Ludwig
typical guy
Borga.
going to Ludwig Borga, Tony Helm. They have seen things that guys who go to a factory to work every day probably don't see. Right? When you're on the road, especially those guys who used to travel in the territory days from town to town by car. You know, you start February, the beginning of February in Los Angeles. By the time summer, you've gone across the country and back, and you stopped in every little one-horse town in between. You really see the difference in the country and who's suffering and who's profiting, and you will probably want to get more involved in such things.
And believe it or not, Nikolai Volkov, even though he didn't speak with his accent was, of course, fake,
Right,
but
yeah,
he
yeah.
was a politician himself. Same with Jerry King Lawler. He was trying to run for something for Memphis for a minute.
Probably the king of Memphis.
Bob Backlund, of course. Same with him.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, a lot of these wrestlers.
Minnesota?
Linda
Nikolai
McMahon.
Volkov's
Linda McMahon,
accent
you ever
was
heard of her?
not
She
fake.
became a big politician.
Yeah, she works for Donald Trump now.
Yeah.
How funny how things change. How one day he's begging for money from them, and then next thing she's begging for a position from him. Interesting.
But see, you got to think about the other side of wrestling beyond just the beyond the political side of it. There's the entertainment side of it, and you got to go all the way back to JFK for that. The first guy who was putting on makeup,
Yeah, and on TV, the first TV
right? Because he
debate,
understood, like, hey,
and he
I
blew
gotta
Richard
play to
Nixon
that.
out of the water. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of the wrestlers, they understand that. A lot of actors understand that.
Right, right.
You know, they understand that there's something to winning the thing that goes beyond just.
Actually knowing what you're talking about. Obviously, that's never been more clear than it is today. So you're not going to weigh in on this at all?
Who would have known that being able to speak to a group of people and get them to believe your lies would be useful in politics? I mean, I'm surprised there's not more. I'm surprised there's not a president. as a wrestler.
Oh, as a wrestler, a president as a wrestler.
As a wrestler, like Stone Cold. The Ric Flair could have won. If Ric Flair would have just gone for it, he would have won.
I think there's too
Hands
much
down.
that Ric Flair did in his heyday.
That's why he didn't.
No.
Who was the president
In
that
his
walked with a
book, he
big
talks
stick?
about
Who
it
was
a
that?
lot.
Wasn't he a-
Teddy Roosevelt.
wasn't he a big, tough guy?
Speak softly, carry a big
Played
stick.
football.
Play football, but he hunted rhinos and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler.
Yes,
He was president. Ha!
There you
so
go.
there was.
There,
There you
oh, that's
go.
right. That's right. There
There's
you
your history
go.
lesson.
We got it right there. We've already had a wrestling president. His name was the great emancipator, Abraham Lincoln.
Well, you know, whatever man does in the privacy of his own home is his own business.
No, emancipator. That means
It got me off guard too. My mind was like, what?
Right? Like, what?
you guys.
Who did he emancipate?
I don't
I'm not paid every night.
All right, I'm gonna pass out four pieces of paper, and I want each one of you in secret to write down what the word emancipate means. I'm passing these out right now. Here you go. Here you go.
can't spell.
All right, here. There you
Give
go.
me a pen.
There you
I'm gonna
go.
draw
Right.
you
Man,
a big
man.
This affected my people,
There
so
you go.
I should
There should be
know.
some pens over there. Grab one off his desk.
Oh, I only got
Here,
one
Joey.
pen. Hold on.
Don't let me see. Don't let me see. Here, take this. Write down what you think the word emancipate means.
The Emancipation Proclamation.
That's right. That's right. Get this man a pen. God, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it pains me to have to do this, right? But I think in order to give you the best quality we can give you, I think that the entire staff, every now and then, from time to time, needs to be reevaluated. Fold it up.
You're
Fold
not
it
going
up.
to be able to read
Fold
some
it
of
up.
this stuff online.
Needs to be evaluated, right, and brought into light. You don't.
Every day we stray farther.
Let me
from
borrow a
God's
pen
light.
so I can write my
me-
essay, please.
Oh yeah. Hey, do we have another pen over there? So, ladies and gentlemen, the topic is emancipation. I called Abe. Well, I didn't call. I called Abe Lincoln the Great Emancipator, as he was known. Okay.
He was a married man. Why would he? What the hell?
He was married to Mary Todd Lincoln. Very good.
Right. I mean, she was crazy, but she wasn't crazy every day.
Oh yeah.
I don't
You
know.
tell me one woman who isn't.
Hey, you know?
All right. Now,
He doesn't
views
mean,
and
he doesn't
opinions
mean
of-
now. He doesn't mean now. He's saying in the past.
Sorry, Joe.
when he had a crazy woman.
Yeah,
You
back
know,
back a long time ago.
this is
Yeah,
long,
back now.
long before the woman he met.
That
now.
long ago. Thank you. All right.
Hey,
So-
why didn't Roddy Piper run for president? He
He's
could
dead.
have won. No, I mean when he was alive, not now.
Because he was
now
from
he can
Scot-
only
he was
vote for
from-
Hillary.
He was from Canada, wasn't he?
No,
I think
Roddy
he was.
Piper.
Yeah, I don't think he was born in the
Oh,
USA.
that's terrible.
Oh, somebody gave us.
terrible.
Okay.
I think I figured it out.
Hey, how come I
Hey,
lost all my
Cynthia
comments?
Navia looked it up.
You're
real
asking me
quick.
a
All
pretty
right, well, she looked it up.
complicated word
Okay, just
in
go
my
ahead. Let's
second
start reading.
language.
All right,
but
I
I
didn't
used
put
the
my name on the
context
paper,
clues,
so-
I figured
No,
it
I
out.
think I'll figure it out. Robert, do you want to join in? All right. All right.
Cynthia Navia, what are you, some kind of English teacher?
She looked it up. She's cheating.
Think you're smarter than me, lady? I don't know you, but I'm gonna find
We
out.
didn't get to Google it before we started.
Well, that
No,
was
mine-
the whole
Sitting
point.
here with
Mine's like-
Merriam-Webster's in front of me.
mine's completely-
Of course I would have gotten
All
it
right,
right
ladies
if
and
that was the
gentlemen.
case.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you joined us late, the subject we have, what we have going on here right now is I referred to Abraham Lincoln as the Great Emancipator, right? And then everyone laughed and started giggling and coming up with these snide comments. So comments, and I said to them, I said, okay, I want you to write down on a piece of paper what you think the word emancipator is.
How
all right?
smart are
All right.
OCCW wrestling entertainment?
For the record, to emancipate someone is to set it free or set them free. If
Now, wait a minute,
Hey, yeah, buddy.
We all know what you
so,
wrote.
Says you,
so here,
John
I didn't
Raw.
write anything down. So here we go. We're gonna start with this one. This one is from. I think this is
know.
from B.A. Marcus Frey.
We
All
don't
right.
know.
It says. Oh, do you want? I can tell your
You
handwriting.
said it was anonymous.
You realize you signed for your payment, so I know you're
You
okay.
can read my writing.
To liberate a large amount of people from oppression and injustice.
Yeah, exactly.
Gee,
I wrote that.
wonder who
That's
wrote
exactly
that.
what I wrote.
All right.
You're welcome. You're welcome, America.
Whatever, Abraham
See,
Lincoln.
The German
All right.
knows a thing or two about your big
Okay.
fancy words.
Hold on. All right.
Yeah, you're not even American. Why do you care?
All right, listen. Come on. Quiet down. Emancipate. E-man. Guy on the internet. C. Latin for
Yes.
small. C. Okay. Pay. Libiate. Liberate. All right.
Okay.
Emancipate.
Learn how to spell your words.
Releasing your little man for all to see on the internet.
Hey, I mean, you're
I'll let you guess who that belongs to.
You know, I never thought of it that way,
No,
BA, but
all
now
right.
that you write it down on paper, it kind of makes sense.
You know, you're freeing something at that point, so I guess that's a real emancipation.
Okay.
I told you some of this stuff you probably ain't gonna be able to
Mancipate. Mancipate. M-A-N space S-A paint with a Y. A man who can change the color of your house on the inside or out.
Emancipate.
Yeah, that sounds like Joey the Bull over there.
I used to have a man that could change the color of my house, and then Lincoln let him go. I was like, give me back my Jerome.
When was the last time you were actually on a farm or anything like that?
See, if it was a real E-man, he could have found him. He could have put a little tile on him and then GPS'd him.
You declined my invitation to go to the Orange County Fair when I wanted to go.
You really got it.
Yeah, look at it, it's a penis. Wait, show him, it's a
What was it?
penis.
Come on, show
I
it.
illustrated the whole thing via diagram.
All right, let's bring this
That's
back.
my memory of the war.
So once again, your word for the evening is emancipate, to set free from political or social restrictions.
As perfectly
I got it
illustrated
right.
by the only guy in the room who's not American. You're welcome, America.
Germans, master of freedom.
Yes, Germans.
Thank you.
All right.
Somebody gets it.
I salute you.
Finally.
In whatever manner you salute over there.
Joey, do you want to give a shout out to our audience tonight?
Oh yeah, we got of course Mindy Hinojosa. We got 10
I love you, girl.
Cynthia now.
Hey, 10 Biz, what's up, man?
Jessica.
Tim Bears, when you coming back? Hey, Jessica.
We got Drew Almighty Masters watching.
Oh, snap.
Freddie.
Hey, Drew!
We got Havoc.
Drew the Master Emancipator.
we got Havoc watching.
Hey, Freddie Havoc, how are you? Come on in. I want to talk to you about the next show.
And then there's 18 other people watching, but they're not showing it on my list over here.
Yeah, you know, mine's getting all wonky too.
Yeah, yeah.
All I have is pictures of
big shout out to everybody
Danny
out there.
doing weird stuff with paint.
Thanks,
Painting
admission.
the ceiling.
Oh, you think about that often, do ya?
All right, so
Oh wait, somebody just popped up right now.
okay.
Rachel's actually watching. Emancipate.
Huh? I'm about to emancipate your ass.
Ooh.
Hey, Emancipation.
You say nothing bad, see?
And you know what the problem? I don't.
set
Hey,
her free.
emancipation. Hey, set me free. Hey, you know, hey, I'm not gonna take
What?
this much longer. I've been pretty calm about these things, baby. Don't listen to him. He's you know what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Well, she chimed in late, so she doesn't probably know what we're talking about right now.
All right, yeah, okay. Well, I'll explain to you later as I
Hello.
do some emancipating on my own. All right.
Oh, yuck.
Let's talk about.
Gross.
Gross. All right.
Make sure your heart's healthy enough for such physical activity. Rockstar energy drink.
And the blue pill. And the blue pill.
I don't need no blue pill. Shit.
They come in white now, too, Joe.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well, why's it got to be white, though?
Yeah.
So
What do you say?
nothing. So let's
Moving
this
forward.
is getting a little bit out of hand. All right. Next week we will have some information about the Halloween purging because it has been brought to my attention that we are having some trouble securing the venue. I've been meaning to tell you guys about that. So the date is up in the air. The date may change.
Oh,
Rest assured, it was
big
still,
surprise. Midway City is giving us trouble with securing a site.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. I'm sorry. We'll have it worked out by the next podcast. But rest assured that I will let all of you know. I will go out of my way to make sure that that the show goes off without a hitch. But that is the Halloween purging. That is our next show at American Legion Post 555. C Team OC. Teams of 5 strive to survive. I will keep you guys informed of the card. More importantly, of the location and the date and time.
Let's do it on our parking lot.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. If it comes down to it, we'll have to do that.
That'd be pretty sweet. It'd be dark
Yeah.
and eerie and
Yeah, and I could just see the city coming in, shutting me down. All right. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about what's the next pay-per-view coming up. It is
Hell in the
Hell in a
Cell.
Hell in a Cell. Let's talk a little bit of Hell in a Cell before we take it home.
I mean, really, the only thing to talk about is Bray Wyatt. I mean, like when you look at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view right now, what are they building? Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Seen it, been there, done that.
Doesn't that scream blood feud settled in a steel
Right,
cage?
you know, because Sasha's hair's now blue, so she's really mean. I mean, like, come on. What else? I mean,
Becky Lynch is red, so it's a blood and crip.
yeah, I
You know what
guess
happens
so.
when you take the blue pill, right?
Yeah, well,
What up, dude?
somebody gonna be standing up. Somebody gonna be
You get
laying
out of the
down.
Matrix, or you stay in the Matrix? I don't remember the movie well.
I mean, other than
red
that,
one
I
gets
mean,
you out of the
what's
Matrix.
another
You're
match
all
that's
messed
going on?
up.
I know the tag team titles are going to be up
Okay.
for grabs.
Is Rey Mysterio going to wrestle for the title?
No.
No. Right now, the only thing that Rey Mysterio's doing is building this storyline with his son.
But didn't he win a shot at the title?
Yeah, he won last night.
Yeah.
And then I think he's supposed to be going for some.
Is that at Hell in the Cell?
I think it's for Monday Night Raw, I believe.
Oh, Monday Night Raw? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they're probably going to continue the feud between Chad Gable and King Barrett there. Or not Corbin, whatever. King Corbin, sorry. Not King Barrett, whatever. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot on the card that is worth reaching out for. Everyone is tuning in strictly to see, can the Fiend actually get it done at this pay-per-view and become Universal Champion? And mind you, does he deserve this shot? Hell yeah. I mean, I thought the dude should have at least been in that main event picture for the last year and a half of his career, if not more. You know, so for him to finally break his way into that title picture now, I'm excited to see it. I think the writing's on the walls for Seth Rollins. I don't think he should have been the one to take Brock Lesnar out. But I mean, then on the other side, you have Brock Lesnar
Watch out
versus.
for that banana puppet, right, Joey?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, on the other side, what you got? Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. Who's really going to be excited about that? Does anyone truly believe that Kofi Kingston stands a chance in hell of holding on to that title going up against Brock Lesnar?
And that's on the first episode of SmackDown.
That's right. And
That's the premiere of SmackDown.
as it appears on Fox for the first time.
Right.
Correct? So that should be interesting. Fox and the WWE are entering the first year of their, what is it, a 8-year contract? is it?
God willing.
Jesus.
So they're stepping in where the UFC has actually stepped out. They'll be running a weekly program. Do that again. Do that again. Now, what is it that you can see there? Is it the camera or is it? Oh, it's that whole duality thing. You can see the screen back there. Interesting.
Wait, what do you mean they're going to be running? They've always been running a weekly. I don't know.
No, because UFC didn't run a
UFC
weekly.
didn't run a weekly program,
but
right?
WWE will be.
But when
So
UFC's contract ended, in came the WWE.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Now,
So-
you think the reason why they're doing Fox is because now the XFL is going to be playing after football season's over, that they're going to take over?
More than
Are
likely.
you kidding? Are you kidding? No one will pay a nickel
I mean, we
for
are
the
getting that
for
cool
the
team. What's it
XFL.
called? The
It's
LA
going to be.
Man's paying a lot for the XFL.
Yeah, exactly, and he's the only one. Maybe it was like this. Hey, if we go to your if we take wrestling to your channel, then will you take the XFL? But it certainly was not the other way
But
around.
you can't clown the
You know how to
XFL
play
because you got to remember, the XFL was the
XFL.
first
We're
program to have
fast.
those hangover cameras,
Football.
which they sold to the NFL
Right.
because that was their whole look and feel.
Right.
So the XFL did a lot for the NFL during the XFL years.
Well,
Yeah, they also gave him Pac-Man Jones, who was like the one player that tried to kill everybody on the field every time he hit him.
Yes, and they lost shit tons of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
need
something the
two
NFL
football
hasn't been able to do for.
Antonio Brown needs a place to go.
That's what I'm saying.
I think we need
Antonio
two
Brown
football
can go
leagues
straight to
so we
hell.
can show everybody back in Europe how to do it the correct way.
Yes, I
Your
agree.
hands.
Yeah, there's
Ah.
kicking.
I've
That's
learned
the
one thing
football.
from America.
All right, we are up
You're
against
allowed to pick the ball up. It's evolution. No one ever thought of it back then. before. That's one thing I'm going to take back with me.
So
Just run with it, fellas.
in summation, this weekend, where can we see you guys?
Saturday, you can see me at 3PW, and Sunday, you can see me right here in this dojo, 8381 Unit J. 8381 Catella Avenue, Unit J. I'll be
Stanton,
wrestling
California.
at Stanton, California. I'll be wrestling for GCF. You can come see me and
I'm going everywhere he's going. I'm staying stuck to you like glue, buddy.
I mean,
You're my meal ticket here from here on out.
Now, BA, are you holding after hours at Club Bubbles after you're done?
I'll be wherever the money is.
Yeah.
Saturday, I'll be supporting my sometimes friend, sometimes more than friend, B.A. Marcus Frey, down at 3PW. And Sunday, I'll be defending my title at Lucha Pro in Florence in L.A. downtown, 6 o'clock p.m., $15 for the adults, $5 for Los Niños. You're going to see your daddy putting a hurting on anybody that steps in his way.
You said
Because
in
I'm
Spanish.
the Lucha Pro champion. And don't you forget it sometimes, lover. Don't you forget it. All right?
That said, for
Now-
Joey the... go ahead.
Now I want to hear that whole spiel again in
In Spanish, yeah.
Go ahead.
Come on, Azrael.
Help me out. Domingo, Domingo, Domingo.
Para domingo, en la primera lucha, Gusten Uberstud versus Vito Vipacal Presa. Para niños está en $10 Dolores. Y sábado, domingo, y domingo 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Joey the Bull, for the team of Thunder and Lightning, for the Lucha Pro Heavyweight Champion, Gusten Thunder Oberstad, this is Jonathan Malice, wishing you a good night and hoping all of your bumps are taken in the ring.
Good night, Rachel.
Niños
Good
means
night.
children.